Welcome back to another episode of the SML Sidelines Sports Podcast. My name is Zach Jazzy. I'm your host, and I'm joined by two of my wonderful friends, family, colleagues, brothers and sisters,
you can just say
and
brothers.
co-hosts. So why don't we introduce ourselves here?
Hello, my name's Haley McGoldrick.
Hey, I'm Spencer Mellon.
And this is the core team. Now, last week, Haley and I were both here, but Spencer Malone was unfortunately missing. Sandro Severin did a great job filling in for him, but these are the three voices that you are going to be hearing on your YouTube page for the next little while. Hopefully we can move to a different platform at some point.
If somebody could get back to me with finances, we could do that. But nobody responds to me on this club, so I can only do so much.
That is fair.
Shots fired.
I do my best.
It's not like I haven't said that to everyone's faces.
That's true.
No, I'm kidding. We can,
very-
honestly, I feel like we could, but I can bring that up.
I've said that since the beginning.
We've got a
of the year.
meeting tomorrow.
I
That's what we'll do.
will make it my goal to get your voice heard, Haley.
Thanks, babe.
I got you. Okay. We have a very interesting week. Couple of very intense topics to talk about. A lot of things happen in basketball. A lot of things happen in football. Hockey was... they played games, and
Austin Matthews got a contract.
And so I guess we're going to jump right in. We'll start with basketball because it's Spencer's first show. For those of you who don't know, actually, you know what? Spencer's first show. Spencer, tell him a little bit about yourself here.
I'm a second-year corporate student on SML. Huge fan of basketball. Participant in intramurals here at Laurier. Open gym fanatic, and just very eager to talk about my Raptors.
Oh, buddy.
And the other goings-on around the NBA.
We will be getting involved and in deep about that Raptor team. So, I guess we could start right from there. Holy shit, the East is looking insane.
Yeah, so years prior, the East has been kind of the butt of the joke of the NBA, as it's whatever team battling in the West versus LeBron James in the East, because nobody was ever good enough to dethrone LeBron James, no matter how bad his teams ever seemed to be.
Regardless.
Especially last year when that Cavaliers team was interesting to say the least.
Who the hell do they even have?
Yeah.
Like, literally.
JR Swish, buddy. JR Swish.
The fact that they still made it to the finals was appalling.
It's just
They swept the Raptors.
It's greatness in LeBron, and then just complete boneheadedness on the part of the Raptors, and then chokes in key moments by the Celtics and Pacers. And
But you know what? He's out of the conference now.
and it's more wide open than ever.
It's not only wide open, it is intense.
It is the four beasts of the East.
I honestly, we're saying 4 beasts of the East. I'm thinking it's 3. I don't know if I see it from the Celtics.
See, that's where I'm gonna disagree with you partially. With the Celtics, when they play to their potential, I think they are one of the most dangerous teams, not just in the East, in the league. I think the dysfunction can and may actually be their undoing, but I really have more doubts about Philadelphia as a team.
Really?
I don't like the pieces that they have together at this very time, just because of the limitations they have. Ben Simmons can be neutralized, as we've seen, by LeBron James standing in the paint and saying, hey, shoot the ball, or drive at me. He's not going to give you the space. People know how to guard him in the playoffs. They're not going to just let him run down into the paint constantly. Joel Embiid, as fantastic of a player, and a physical force as he is, his conditioning, we know that's been a problem for him. And we know guys got conditioning.
I'd argue that.
Really?
I think Joel Embiid is a beast. I think Ben Simmons, he can be guarded on offense, but first of all, he makes up for it on defense. But second of all, he's a playmaker. Yeah, LeBron James stands in front of him. What's he going to do? Oh, he dishes to Joel Embiid. Oh, he dishes to Jimmy Butler. He dishes to JJ Redick, who, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated players in the game.
I agree with that.
As of right now.
I do agree with that.
And new acquisition, dishes to Tobias Harris. Honestly, that top 5, I think that's a team. That's a team of 5 potential all-stars right there.
My problem with the Sixers is they seem to have a problem with the Celtics in that Al Horford neutralizes Joel Embiid every time they play. And then they have a problem with the Raptors this year. Every time that they've played the Raptors and Kawhi's been healthy, Ben Simmons becomes a turnover machine. He can't seem to find a way to get around that, and I think that's going to hurt the Sixers in the playoffs. I don't think if they match up with either the Celtics or the Raptors, they'll have a chance of beating them. Combined with the fact they're 1-7 against the top 4 teams in the East. The other top 4. They've beaten Indiana twice, but they've only beaten every other team combined once, and that was the Raptors when Serge Ibaka and Kawhi Leonard were both injured.
But that was when they had Markelle Fultz playing instead.
No, it wasn't. He was
of Tobias
injured.
Harris.
He was injured.
Markelle Fultz was injured.
Markelle Fultz was injured in the one win they had. Plus, that was actually when JV and Ibaka were out. So Greg Monroe started that game that the Raptors lost to the Sixers. They've only really had one, half win, I would say, against another top team in the East. So that's my concerns with them.
Just watching them against the Lakers, though, as soon as Tobias Harris joined that squad.
They were beasts.
They were.
They destroyed the Lakers, but I'm not going to be excited about them until they consistently bring it against the good teams. Not just the Lakers right now. They're missing one of their key catalysts on the defensive end and one of their key playmakers in Lonzo Ball. Mm-hmm. It could be argued, is LeBron fully healthy? Did he come back to sort of save the spiraling out of control team? So I really think that they need to prove themselves against more than just, the Clevelands of the league, the Knicks of the league, or whoever.
The other thing with the game against the Lakers too is that both LeBron and Kuzma were able to go off.
Absolutely, they couldn't guard either of those players. It's just the rest of the Lakers are just.
I agree with that.
They're there.
Another interesting thing that you brought up, which would be a good segue here, is that Joel Embiid being shut down. I think the Toronto Raptors definitely help themselves in any future contests against the Sixers by acquiring a big piece in
Marc Gasol
and finding that one piece that's able to shut down the big boy on all 4 of the big teams in the East.
Absolutely. So Marc Gasol is a fantastic IQ player just on the offensive and defensive end. He brings a facet to the Raptors they've never really had as a big man who keeps the ball moving. So in the past, when the Raptors have played teams with big centers, JV has done a very good job of neutralizing it. I mean, I remember a game against the Sixers in, I think, November where JV absolutely cooked Embiid, right? Big centers, they've shown that JV could match up with them. But what they've done is upgraded, found a player who covers for a lot of the deficiencies that Jonas had, and they've still got that big body, a guy who can stretch out the floor, guy who's going to pass it and get more open looks for your other stars and take some of the playmaking pressure off a guy like Kyle Lowry or new signing Jeremy Lin even.
Mm-hmm. I think that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, the way that I see it is Marc Gasol in all aspects of being a center is better than JV.
Absolutely. And especially at this point in time.
And everyone's talking about how DeLon Wright no one wanted to give up DeLon Wright because he's going to be a star, which Absolutely. I don't argue. I think he will be. CJ Miles, great player. I don't think he'll ever be a starter.
Great guy. Yeah. I love him, but
I don't think he'll ever be a starter. I think he's maybe a good sixth man, but that's about it. And then what was it? A second round pick?
I don't even know. That was just the trade.
No, there was a pick in there.
No, there wasn't.
Nope.
I'm pretty sure
it was JV, CJ. Oh, you know what it was? It was a 2024 second round pick.
Yeah.
It was that means literally nothing.
Yeah. So I think the way that I see it is everyone's saying, "Oh, JV was perfectly fine," but yeah, perfectly fine doesn't win you a championship.
Yeah, they have to go all in, especially if they want to keep Kawhi Leonard beyond this year. Mm-hmm. If they want to continue their championship window beyond just this year, they're going to need to show that they're willing to go all in. And they're willing to trade the fan favorites for actual upgrades. As much as we all love the gang going into the playoffs, having fun seasons every year, it's not fun watching them consistently get exposed for the deficiencies where, DeRozan couldn't shoot 3-pointers, or Kyle Lowry and DeRozan are the only scorers on the team, just neutralize them, or, guess what, Jonas is very slow, so let's just expose him in the pick and rolls.
It's also, it's starting to get time. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Kyle Lowry is not young.
He's not getting any younger.
And there's Gasol, he's freaking 34 years old.
Exactly.
Gasol
core is up there.
Well, I mean, new core. But, what I'm saying is, by the time Kyle Lowry's done, I don't think Fred VanVleet or OG Anunoby will be ready to take over.
Not necessarily. Right? I don't think so either.
But I honestly think it's feasible to see the Raptors get to the finals and lose to the Warriors. I think
it's feasible for them to win against the Warriors. Think about it. Like,
no.
I don't think they are going to necessarily, but I think they have the best chance. I think they match up with the Warriors the best. They've proven that in the 2 games where they beat the Warriors, including one in Oracle without Kawhi Leonard, which they absolutely blew the doors off the Warriors. Showed them, like, hey, you guys can't just waltz in here and think just because you guys are the championships, we're going to roll over for you. The Raptors came into that game, and they showed that we are a force to be reckoned with. Like, things are different this year. And you know what? I don't think they're going to necessarily beat the Warriors. I don't think anyone will dethrone them necessarily, but I think of anyone in the NBA, it's most likely the Raptors or the Celtics, like I said. If they can figure it out, I think those are the 2 teams who have the best shot.
Yeah, I'm a Celtics fan, so obviously I'm going to think my team's going to do well. But if you look at their roster on paper, they're like easily one of the best teams in the
Absolutely.
East. They just don't have that cohesion. I don't know why it doesn't work. And
Kyrie Irving.
That's the thing too. Last year when Kyrie and Gordon Hayward were both hurt and the team was like run by Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they were doing so well. And then they both came back and it was like, okay, your 2 star players who you traded for 2 off seasons ago, got rid of Isaiah Thomas to get Kyrie Irving, got rid of everyone. I can't remember the guy with the dreads name that they sent to the Jazz.
Jay Crowder.
Yeah. Like, got rid of everyone to get...
Avery Bradley, he was one of them. They let go.
Yeah. They literally got rid of everyone to make room for Kyrie and Gordon Hayward, and then Gordon Hayward literally got hurt first game, so, like, you really...
Freak accident, right? That's not his fault.
Yeah,
no, but you didn't see him play all season. He literally didn't play all season. And then as soon as he comes back and finally is on the Celtics roster, and Kyrie's healthy again, like, they're doing... Not terrible, obviously, but like they're
nowhere
much
near their expectations.
Yeah, they can achieve so much better, and it's like, what's going on here? So if they figure it out, I think they're easily the best team in the East.
See, what I think with the problem is with the Celtics is the divide. So there's 2 things, I think. The divide between the older players, the veterans, and the young players. I think that's pretty clear. Like, the veterans constantly call out the young guys, and I think they're in the wrong. Like, anybody should be able to see why the young guys would have an issue with being told, hey, just go be on the bench. Just go be our bench warmers now, right? Like, they carried that team to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think the second reason why the Celtics have struggled is because Al Horford. I think Al Horford last season was by far the best player on the Celtics. He was the anchor of that team. And because he's spent a lot of this year hurt or not playing at the same level, whether that just due to his decline because of age, he's getting up there as well. He's not young. And he's the engine behind that team, and like you see in like last night's matchup versus Philadelphia, when he's on, the Celtics are a threat to any team in the league.
Again, also like that's I do agree with that. Like, you see with the Celtics, you have guys like Tatum, Irving, and Hayward, and they're going off.
Yeah,
right. They've been disgusting, but some of those other core players like Al Horford, like maybe Marcus Smart as well. Like, they've been kind of quiet.
Underachieved. Terry Rozier has been underachieving all season after being...
Where's Scary Terry?
Exactly. Jaylen Brown... Did anybody expect
Marcus Morris?
Did anyone expect... Marcus Morris has been respectable, but there have been times where he's kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how often do you hear Marcus Morris's name?
No, you don't.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like, at the end of the day, it's like the Warriors have proven that it's no longer, we mentioned this at the last podcast, there's no longer the need for a big 3. You need a big 5.
Yeah.
No, it's you need the best 5 players that you can get your hands on.
Mm-hmm. And then your bench can be your bench.
Yeah.
Literally. Your bench can be your bench.
Although, if you think about it, like, last year the Raptors did so well because they had the best bench in the league.
But look at
that
the playoffs.
has more of an effect in the regular season when you're playing your bench. When the rotation's short in the playoffs, then I think the lack of, like, higher-end talent really shows, because the Raptors were exposed when they tried to put their bench on the floor, and then suddenly, like, the other team's benches weren't coming on. It was the starters stayed on the whole time, and the guys struggled at the wrong time.
I actually was talking about
DeRozan.
Van Vliet's injury on game 82. I think that was one of the catalysts of their struggles. Is he was never the same coming back, and he was a big game player for them last year, and he is this year as well.
And he's injured again.
And you know what?
Conveniently in time.
You know what? He's gonna miss some time, but that's the convenience. They got Jeremy Lin. He's going to carry the backup point guard role until he's healthy again.
I think, long story short, the East is going to be a very, very interesting place to keep your eyes on for the next, what do we have, 30 more games?
I think like mid 20, 25 to 30 is like what the range is.
Something like that. We completely disregarded one team when talking
Milwaukee
about the
Bucks.
big teams in the East.
I think the Milwaukee Bucks are a force to be reckoned with. And I think that when they're on, their shooters are shooting. Giannis is being Giannis. I think they're unstoppable. But there's just something about Milwaukee that I don't fear them the same way I would fear the Celtics if the Celtics were on, or the Warriors if the Warriors were on. I don't know what
They
it
also
is.
didn't. They got Mirotic.
Mirotic's a great shooter.
But I don't think they made as big a splash as some of the other teams around them.
The Sixers had a way better addition, and so did the Raptors. I think both of those teams improved dramatically compared to how the Bucks improved. I think the Bucks improved.
Well, no shit. When you add Mirotic, like you're improving.
For what? Like Jason Smith?
Like,
Who even
literally.
is that?
Well, that's like
Literally.
my dad was saying because he was texting me and he's like, "Oh, the Celtics beat the Sixers," and I was like, "As they should," and he's like, "But everyone else got better at the trade deadline, and the Celtics didn't. So like, you should be aware of that."
No, absolutely, and you see, like I think that shows another reason the Sixers just have this potential where they could be the best team in the league. I think, but I don't think they're there yet, and there's no guarantee that they will get there. I think there are a lot of strong personalities in that locker room, and I think at sometimes on the floor the ball dominant personalities clash. I think the Sixers have number 6 usage player in the league in Joel Embiid, number 7 in Ben Simmons. Then you have like 49 Tobias Harris, which sounds like a big drop off, but he was leading the Clippers by a huge margin when he was on the team. And then Jimmy Butler is at like in the 50s somewhere, especially since he's come to the Sixers. He's had the ball a lot less. But
that's exactly the point, though. It's that you need stars, and you need a lot of them.
Absolutely.
They don't have to be the LeBron Jameses, the Kevin Durant's, the Steph Currys, but you need guys who are household names. And at the end of the day, I don't think Brook Lopez is really a household name. I don't
think so.
Like, they have too many of those. Like,
The thing is, you're saying you don't need those household names, but you do. If you're trying to beat the Warriors, they have easily like the two
I'm
best
saying you
players in the
do.
league.
I'm saying you do need
Oh,
those
I thought you
household
said
names.
you
Yeah,
You do.
You need those household names.
What the Bucks is like when Brooks Lopez is hitting step back threes, they're unstoppable. But there have been times, and there are games like, especially like I watch all the Raptors games. There have been games where Brooks Lopez is invisible. The Raptors have easily neutralized
Serge
him.
Ibaka. Serge Ibaka's good at that.
Serge Ibaka's had a fantastic season, by the way.
Serge. I love
very happy to see his bounce back from being a guy who I thought was going to be untradeable, like nonsense this year, to I think like even he wouldn't win it, but I think he's one of the most improved player, not by the stats, but just by how he's actually impacting the team this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I got an opportunity to watch the Raptors Pacers game like about a month ago, and I got lucky. I actually caught some really nice tickets for a very good price. It was very close to the action there, and I honestly kept my eye on Serge Ibaka the entire time because I just wanted to watch him, and you can tell the little things he does.
Yeah.
Like setting proper picks, getting offensive boards. Like he's a
huge
big game changer.
He's a big game player. People forget, like he went through some wars when he was on the Thunder, and OKC when they were going to the title, when they had Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka. Like he was through some playoff battles. He's a big game player. He brings great intensity on both ends of the floor, and I think he electrifies the crowd like not many other players in the league can. Like when he's when he's having big games, when he's doing the block, he's hyping up the crowd. When he hits a big three, his mid-range jumper that seems like it goes in every single time, which is like
from the field he's amazing.
It's like, and conventionally that's
the other
like
thing that you got to
shots.
think about is that he's hitting these mid-range jumpers.
Yeah,
but he's a big boy.
He's big. He's a big man. He's 6'11", I think.
And so when you put a team together, you put a starting five together, and you've got Serge Ibaka at 6'11", and you've got Marc Gasol at 7 foot.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
They can bully some guys.
And the other thing is, if, like, obviously you put, you slot Gasol in at center, you slot Ibaka in at power forward.
If you're going to play them together, yes.
Yeah. Does Siakam ever touch that lineup too?
See, I think
the three,
the beauty of the Raptors now is they have these three players that I think can be interchanged so well. I think Siakam as a starter brings such an interesting dynamic to the floor just with his point forward. He's great at creating shots for other players, creating opportunities. He's good at creating his own shot, as we've seen all year, his spin moves that nobody can seem to guard. And I think he brings an interesting dynamic for how fast he is to the floor. But I think if you get bigger teams in the league and you can exploit this matchup, you get Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol on the floor, which is a lot of what they did last year with JV and Serge Ibaka. That worked a lot against a lot of teams. They just bruised, and they didn't have two guys who could stop two guys that big. Like, I think you play that against Philadelphia. Like, what? Is Joel Embiid going to guard Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol? No, you're going to have one guy, Tobias Harris, who's like, what, 6'9", who now has to guard a big man. Who is very. But
that's exactly what I'm saying. If you can slot Siakam in at the 3, then you're more than likely. You have a mismatch somewhere.
They can have they can run very big lineups, and I think they can run very effective small ball lineups when you have Siakam at the 5. They've shown that lineup. I think with Siakam at the 5 has like something stupid like over a 10 net rating with him at the 5, and like very limited sample size, don't get me wrong, but like they've shown that they can go big or they can go small, and that's the pieces around them to make up for the deficiencies in size or in speed.
That's the great thing about Siakam too, is he's able to play like a big man, but I've also witnessed him play as honestly a guard.
He flies down the court.
He takes shots.
He truly is a point forward.
Like he's a great player.
Absolutely.
As great as the Raptors are, we should move on to the West.
Absolutely.
We should. There's a nice young man in a wonderful place called Oklahoma City who has been making some headlines.
Month of February, he's averaging almost 40 points a night. Since 2019 has turned the calendar year, he's shooting 45% from the 3-point line on 10 attempts a game.
Oh.
That's more than Steph Curry numbers. That is better than Steph Curry's shooting numbers. He's putting up Kevin Durant MVP season's level of scoring on Steph Curry's MVP season worth of efficiency, and I think that's absolutely insane.
I think he has had one of the best turnarounds from like season to season, year over year.
100%.
In like ever.
A very long time.
Ever. Like he was playing on a Russell Westbrook's Thunder last year.
Yeah.
And honestly, like there are times when if I was in a conversation and someone brought up Paul George, I would be like, wait, where's he playing?
Yeah.
Like you didn't really know.
That was Westbrook's team last year.
Yeah. And he's come in and just like, holy shit. I can't get over it. Like words can't really describe how good he's been. And everyone's out here like going off about James Harden, and don't get me wrong,
what he's doing is
James
insane.
Harden is so good.
He's stupidly good at making his own offense. He's arguably, I think, one of the top all times at creating his own offense and creating for others too.
But it's because of the two-way play from Paul George.
Absolutely.
Watching Paul George play is that he goes down court and he'll shoot a 3. He'll pull up some dope Euro step and get a dunk. Like he'll get a point regardless of how. He'll make a sick no look, like whatever. It always looks amazing too. It's never just like a basic shot. But he hauls his ass back down court and he'll make the block. He'll get the steal. He'll have a good guard, draw the foul. Like it's amazing. I can't really put it to words how good Paul George has been.
Absolutely. I think I saw it in an article I was reading earlier today or the other day, where it's like if somebody would ask you to build your perfect NBA player, it's like 6'9" in height, like 6'11" wingspan, amazing shooter, takes it to the rack strong, hard defender, and like that's Paul George. I think it describes, like, I think to a lot of people Paul George is that sort of like ideal NBA player. Like if I could design any NBA player, what skills and what would I want him to be? I think that's something that he's really shown this year.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, there is a chance that James Harden overtakes him for MVP. There is a chance that even Giannis overtakes him for MVP.
Absolutely.
And that's just the one thing that you can appreciate right now is the fact that there's this widespread of talent throughout the league. Because at the end of the day, like, we'll talk 3 years ago. We were talking LeBron, KD, Steph,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And the fact that LeBron, KD, and Steph are still in that conversation.
Still playing at an MVP level.
While we're adding guys like Paul George, while we're adding guys like
James Harden,
Giannis, we're talking about Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard could be the MVP.
Kawhi Leonard's insane. Anthony Davis.
I
mean, if he plays.
for the rest of the year, that's an interesting situation I think we should get to as well. The Pelicans trolled the league, but are now kind of screwing themselves over in their efforts to tank because the league will not let them bench AD for the rest of the season, which is a problem because that he hurts any team's chances of losing because he's a phenomenal talent, generational talent. And then also, what happens if he gets injured? How are they going to trade him to the Celtics? How are they going to trade him to the Lakers? How are they going to trade him to any team if he's hurt?
Honestly, they shot themselves in the foot.
I think so.
Especially because they had so many good offers.
Just to prove a point, too. Just to prove a point and be like, oh, you guys can't tamper with it. Like, I get your high horse or your morals, but you've kind of screwed yourselves over because now you're going to lose him for either nothing or a lot less than what you could have gotten if you had just swallowed your pride.
They screwed the Lakers, but they screwed themselves harder.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, the way that I see it is he's gone on record saying he doesn't want to play for you.
No, his agent literally said he will not re-sign with the Pelicans.
So why don't you get something for him?
But who wants to go to the Pelicans?
Well, that doesn't matter.
You don't have a choice if you get traded.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like
that's the thing. Now they're gonna let him walk, and that's the same way with. I guess he didn't really go on record saying, but with John Tavares.
Yeah, John Tavares. They bumbled his time with the Islanders. They couldn't ever create a team around him aside from 1 year where they went to the playoffs, and they still got bounced in the first round by the Penguins. Mm-hmm. They couldn't ever get enough talent around him to bring him up, and they're shocked when he wants to leave. Like, players, like, it's a very team-centric, like, league, and I think a lot of sports are like that, where it's like, oh, you have to sacrifice for the team, you have to stay with the team for your whole career. When are people going to think more?
But that's what I'm saying. Before you guys shut me down, like, if you're being traded to New Orleans, like, you're not going to want to there's no team morale there. You're not going to be like, I'm going to try my hardest in New Orleans. Like,
but at least they actually have the players. Whereas now, what's going to happen is Anthony Davis is going to leave.
And that's what I'm saying. You don't listen.
Then nobody's going to come to
I'm saying, if you get traded for Anthony Davis to come to your team and you go play in fucking New Orleans, you're not going to go play your MVP season out in New Orleans when nobody's there, is what I'm saying. Yes. If Anthony Davis goes.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
But regardless of the fact, the players are there.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm just saying.
That's why they needed to trade him. Now, if they traded Anthony Davis and players came and players don't want to play their hardest, they're still there. They're still under contract.
At least they have the assets.
Yeah. Whereas now, they're losing Anthony Davis, and like you said, New Orleans is dog shit.
Nobody wants to play on a team.
That's why I don't get what point you're making.
No one's going to sign.
That's what I'm saying, and you said no.
Saying they're not going to get any assets about it. We're saying they're going to get fewer or no assets for Anthony Davis when they could have gotten a hell of a lot from the Lakers.
Do you remember what the Lakers offered? It was
their whole team.
It was Rondo, it was Ball, it was Kuzma, it was Ingram, and it was 2 first-round picks.
We're starting LeVar Ball at center now.
You're forgetting the player they threw in there, Lance Stevenson. They're like, we're giving you Kuzma, Lance Stevenson, Ingram,
KCP.
Like,
please take our generous. Please take KCP off our hands.
Like they were trying to get rid of Lance Stevenson. Speaking of the Lakers, LeBron is literally having his worst season since his rookie season while being on the Lakers.
Which is hilarious because his worst season is still like stupidly insane.
It is good, but I'm just saying.
Points. I know, it's like his worst season ever and he's like dropping like 40 points.
Yeah.
17 assists.
But again, that's the same like the team around him. Like he's got Kuzma, but everyone else is like severely.
He's got to have. Well, I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think when Lonzo Ball comes back, their defense.
That's a take right there.
Defensively, since Lonzo Ball got hurt in 11 games, they went from like 7th in defensive efficiency to almost last in the league since he's been out. Mm-hmm. I think he has a very big impact on them, and I think that when he comes back, they will make the playoffs. I don't think they're going anywhere. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they'll go anywhere because Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram are passive. They're way too passive on offense. Nobody except Kuzma is willing to take shots. Kuzma and LeBron are the only ones who are willing to.
Brandon Ingram takes shots. Brandon Ingram takes
He's a
shots.
very passive player, though. You have to admit.
Yeah.
Like, you think they would like it a lot more if LeBron fed him and then he just pulled up and took the shot. Or if he created his own shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo Ball will just pass it no matter what. You feed him a wide open corner three, he passes it out. Like, come on, you have to take that shot.
I can't see the Lakers making it, in my opinion. I love the Lakers. I love LeBron. He's the GOAT. I said it actually earlier in the season when I was guest starring on this podcast that I think Lonzo Ball is going to be a huge star. I still stand by that. Kyle Kuzma's amazing.
Yeah.
But as of right now, the guys who I just listed other than LeBron are too young, too dumb, and too eager to do things and make mistakes.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
ultimately, right now they're 10th in the conference. When's Lonzo Ball coming back? What's his state? I know it's not for a little while.
Injury. Let's check that out. Lonzo Ball progressing well. He's gonna be running on the treadmill soon. It's a bone break, right? So like it's
Yeah.
Let's see.
Even if he's back in like, let's say conservatively 3 weeks, you are going to only have
Beginning of March is what they're saying.
beginning of March, eh?
That's a lot of time considering the All-Star break's coming up and like the games don't resume again until the 22nd.
I don't know. I don't think it's mathematically feasible, and I don't think it's.
They're gonna pass the Clippers without a doubt. The Clippers are going into tank mode. They're gonna pass the Clippers, and honestly, I could see them passing the Spurs or the Kings. I think the Spurs are LaMarcus Aldridge or DeMar DeRozan. Like, not injury, but like just not playing as good as they have played. They're one of those two players underachieving away from just completely collapsing. Like, the Spurs, to me, they don't play good looking basketball. Like, they shoot the fewest threes in the league, even though they do make first in efficiency, because the only people who will shoot them are the people who will make them, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think the Spurs are playing a modern play style, and I think that's going to come back to haunt them. Mm-hmm. And
Well,
yeah.
You know, it's gonna be real interesting. But
Absolutely.
we've talked a lot about basketball here.
I have
Yeah.
one more thing to add.
I have one more thing after your thing.
You go first.
Okay, so just interesting thing about nobody wants to go to New Orleans. There are trade rumors out there. Jason Tatum wouldn't mind going to New Orleans to be the face of a franchise if he was traded. So
That's fair.
That's just something to be thrown out there. You know, I think a lot of players don't necessarily. It's not an attractive destination, but if they think they're good enough to be the guy, like
That's what I always say about Devin Booker. Nobody really wants to play in Phoenix, but he's the guy.
He's the guy
so.
there, and I think he enjoys being the guy.
Yeah, but what I was going to say was, speaking of the Lakers and young Lakers who suck and can't be leaders, that's the reason why D'Angelo Russell got traded. And now he's the youngest player in NBA history to hit 500 threes. You know what school he went to?
He went to the same school as Ben Simmons, right?
No. He went to the Ohio State University.
Oh, I'm thinking high school. That's right.
Oh, he went to Ohio State, was drafted second overall when he got drafted.
So football.
You know what? I just want to make
Don't
one
cut me off on my show.
I love D'Lo. I love ice in his veins. I think the Lakers made a huge mistake trading him, even though they got Kyle Kuzma back. I think that was great on them. But I think they did make a mistake trading D'Angelo Russell, especially considering the stupid scenario that it was around.
Yeah, well, that's what Magic Johnson said. He's not a leader and all this.
Yeah, he's accidentally snitched on Nick Young. Like, whoops, my bad.
Swaggy P.
Swaggy P.
Yo, I have one.
now
more,
Swaggy
I have
P has
one
a
more
ring.
thing to add too. I got one more thing to add
Yes.
too.
Okay, last
Holy
thing.
shit, the Knicks are bad.
Oh yeah, they
Okay,
are.
that's it. That's all I have to add. They lost 17 in a
Raptors
row.
shot 31%, still won by 5.
They lost
That's all you need to
17
know
in
about
a
the New
row.
York
That's what
Knicks.
happens when they got rid of their literal only good player. It just went downhill.
Yeah, okay.
And Enes Kanter was accused of terrorism.
Yeah.
They won't even play on his Cantor because he's well, that probably has some sort of thing in, but I think a lot of it's like they don't want to win, and then when Enes Kanter's on the floor, they're more likely to win.
No shit. Okay.
All right.
So
NFL?
Yeah.
we will definitely jump into NFL now. So we have some interesting news. We mentioned this on the podcast last week when Sandro completely butchered the name of
Kyler Murray.
Of Kyler Murray.
Kelly Murray.
Kelly Murray. My fave.
But big news to come out. I was wrong.
Yep, and I was right. What else is new? Kyler
Actually,
Murray's staying in football.
There's some more news coming up where I was right and you were wrong, but it's okay. We'll get to that in a little bit.
What?
But Kyler Murray is choosing football.
I said that there's no way you're going to go win a Heisman and choose baseball. Like, you are literally the best player in college football. You know you're going to get drafted by
Best quarterback.
a decent team. Not necessarily. There's a few quarterbacks in the draft who are really good this year. It depends on what you're looking for.
If you're stating him the best player, he's also the best quarterback. That's how logic
No,
works.
but like it depends on if you're looking at like, okay, Stephen A. Smith, who's an idiot.
I love Stephen A's intensity. Hate his dumb opinions.
Him and Colin Cowherd both have like the most garbage takes
Colin
ever.
Cowherd is an idiot.
He's a hypocrite. That's my thing about Colin Cowherd.
Kellerman also.
Is this gonna become a weekly thing? Like, we should make a segment like
Okay. About
how
bashing
much
Colin Cowherd.
Okay, but this wasn't Colin Cowherd this time. This was Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith was talking about Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State, and he said he's the guy you're gonna have as a running quarterback, not a passing quarterback. And he had.
We had someone knock on our door, and Haley
Yeah.
lost her train of thought.
Sorry,
We need a better studio.
We do. Dwayne Haskins threw for 4,000 yards this year and ran for like 105. And Stephen A. Smith said he's going to be your running quarterback. But that's what I'm just saying. Like, some teams, if you have an incredible wide receiver, obviously you're going to want somebody
You don't
who
want
can,
somebody who's gonna run.
Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying when it depends on what you're looking for.
Wasn't Kyler Murray like pegged to go 15th in the draft?
They didn't even have him in the... Obviously, these are mock drafts, but, like, somebody didn't even have him in the first round.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, what did I see?
If you obviously, if you're the Giants and you come across Kyler Murray, you're taking Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
But you never know.
Come on,
Also,
or
'cause-
Eli Manning's got to get his minutes.
But the thing is, you never know. The thing about the draft is you never know because everyone said Sam Darnold's gonna go first. You know, he's first. He's the guy. He's the
Yeah,
guy.
but you went third.
But
like-
Baker Mayfield went first. Nobody had Baker Mayfield going first. Nobody did.
Well,
that worked out a little bit.
But he also
Well,
won the Heisman, so you never know.
speaking of
Wasn't he offensive player of the year, offensive quarterback of the year? Big-
No.
that was Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes literally won like 4.
So, speaking of Baker Mayfield, though, he has a new receiver, a new weapon in his arsenal.
He
who
does.
I think should not be in his arsenal. Should not be in anyone's arsenal. But
Should not be in the league.
we will get heated about that in a second.
He literally said
But-
about himself either he would be on the Browns or in jail.
So, Kareem Hunt is Brown, and first things first, the Browns are dangerous now. Because regardless of how much of a piece of shit Kareem Hunt is, he's a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
He's an amazing football player.
You could say a lot about a lot of football players.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think a lot of athletes in general.
Yeah, pretty
Bad
much.
people. Don't make
But
athletes
don't we
your heroes,
just love
kids.
sports? No. So Kareem Hunt, amazing football player. The Browns just got a lot more dangerous, especially with Baker Mayfield throwing the pigskin and going into his second year, considering how good of a first year he had. I would not be surprised to see the Browns make the playoffs.
I wouldn't either.
They were really close. Like, not
They
really
were-
close, but they were in the hunt for
They
a
were.
while.
Considering
Miles above. They were like infinitely better than they've been the previous seasons. This
Baker
year.
Mayfield in like 4 games had as many wins as the Browns did in the last like 3 seasons.
And isn't
Well, I
that
think
and
even
also
more than that.
Baker Mayfield didn't start like the first 5 games of the season.
No, they had what's his name?
That other dude?
Whatever his name is.
I don't know much about football. So.
I was gonna say Tyrod Taylor, but that's not right. He played for the Bills.
Anyways,
Bills Mafia.
so that is all fun and games, you know. But Roger Goodell,
The clown.
why the fuck is Kareem Hunt still in the league?
Because Roger Goodell would rather penalize Tom Brady for some uninflated balls than people who actually commit crimes.
Or he would rather penalize Colin Kaepernick
For standing up for himself.
for kneeling during
the
a
anthem.
voluntary thing
Also,
in standing
Which
during.
literally means nothing.
controversial opinion
Like,
here.
the thing is, what?
Why does the anthem need to take place in sports games? It
Literally.
is literally like completely.
It's just history.
It's complete.
That's just
It
history.
is history. And that's the thing, my dad was talking, and he said, like, you know, we'll get into the AAF later, but he's talking about all the football leagues who have tried to do the NFL and failed because the NFL is so rich in its history. And that's why things like
Like
that matter.
I understand why we play the anthem, but
But the thing
in order to just like treat Colin like the way that we did, or the way that they did, I freaking love Colin Kaepernick. But
yeah.
to treat him the way that you did, and then allow a guy who on video beat the shit out of a woman.
Well, that was like when, what's his name?
Adrian Peterson.
Did it and got
Was that
2
the
games.
was that the elevator?
Yeah, and he got
Yeah.
2 games. Like,
It was just
if you beat your wife, you just gotta sit out like twice. You know.
It's like, bro,
Pay the fine.
it's like, yo, man, like literally, like this is
Here's
it's
the
like it's
stop.
called the dumb tax. Like
Oh,
that's what it is.
You
It's
got
literally
caught
like
on
you're
camera
fucking
doing something
you're stupid. Like go to timeout.
Yeah. It means literally nothing to these players who, the good ones, are taking home a lot of money a year for the NFL, right? Like, you think those 2 games mean crap to them?
Kareem
No.
Hunt should be in prison.
No, there are a lot of NFL players.
A lot of them should be in prison.
Like I don't know. I am first of all scared because the Browns are in the same division as the Steelers and they just got a shit ton better. I'm swearing a lot. I apologize, but this got me heated.
I have to.
But
okay.
second off, I'm pissed. Like what the fuck? Like,
I mean, like, O.J. Simpson murdered somebody, and like,
Yeah, and like he literally didn't even go to jail until they're like, oh crap,
Yeah.
like we caught him for like robbing somebody, but let's just like throw on that like murder charge.
but like everyone
remember
knew.
that thing?
That thing he
Everyone
did?
knew he did it, and like
It
he
was
knew he
so
did it,
obvious.
and then they tried to put on the
And then he
damn
wrote a-
glove,
Hey,
and it ruined everything.
Listen, guys, if
We
I
all-
really did it, this is how I would have done it. Here's a book I'm gonna write about how crazy I am. Like, come on,
Yeah.
that should have been the dead giveaway.
Yeah, the NFL is really messed up in that, and like a lot of people. That's like I was reading something about the CFL, which nobody cares about, but there was some guy who was like literally kicked out of the CFL for like cocaine use, which obviously I'm not condoning coke
No,
or anything like that. But like people have done worse in this world. Like maybe suspend him for like a season, not like literally indefinitely ban him from the league.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of professional athletes who probably regularly indulge in cocaine.
Johnny Manziel literally.
Johnny Manziel, noted substance abuse problem.
Yeah.
I think a lot of players even don't have a substance abuse problem, and they still probably use
Yeah.
cocaine.
So my good example for this is a fellow by the name of Josh Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Gordon, he has been caught for smoking the devil's lettuce, the ganja.
the marijuana.
The buddy absolutely
Mary Jane.
loves the Mary Jane. And he's been treated pretty poorly because of it. He's not playing still. And ultimately he's a dumbass because at the end of the day you're making millions of dollars and you like are a professional athlete and it's like, dude, it's weed. Like, do you really have to get high? Like, is that,
Literally.
like,
Go find some
Honestly,
other dumb
I
thing
agree.
to get
And
high
people,
on.
people
Smoke a
like,
vape.
People
Like,
always like
go
fight
vape.
me on that, and I'm like, it's not that hard. I would literally give up if somebody said you can never have pizza again, but you're going to be $1 billion athlete. I'd be like, who's pizza?
Goodbye.
I don't know what pizza is.
I'll
Like,
eat sushi instead.
one bite, everybody knows the rules.
it's not that hard.
No, like literally, I would probably, like, for those of you who don't know me, I love video games. I play a lot of video games, and I would like set my PlayStation on fire in an instant.
Literally.
Set on fire. I'd throw it out of the top of Lux.
Like,
Are you kidding me?
literally,
And
like,
then I'd burn it.
Like, it's not that hard. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Just don't smoke weed. But we're getting off topic here.
Yeah.
Like,
Back to more trades. Joe Flacco is now a Bronco.
wow.
Hilarious.
We were talking
And-
about that last pod. I was not wrong. If you go back, I did not say he's not going to go. I jokingly said, well, how could you get rid of the 2012 Super Bowl MVP? The Broncos nor the Ravens were making waves this year. It's not like...
I just want to put on record that Zach Jazzy, in his first podcast hosting and assistant hosting, is what I'm going to say, because Haley gets mad at me every time I say I was hosting.
Because this is my podcast.
It is.
Thank
My
you.
first
welcome.
podcast assistant hosting made a hot take, and the next week it came true. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I did the same thing.
We can continue.
Oh, Kyler Murray's going to go play baseball. He's going to get $50 million.
I said this. I said, first of all, I said if I were him, I would play baseball
Baseball's a
because,
terrible sport.
number one, he got a $50 million contract.
No,
off
he
of
didn't.
me.
He said he would only play for the A's if he was getting $15 million. There's no way they're going to pay him $15 million. And I said that.
It's a safer
Open stump,
sport.
they
That's
would.
literally
But
the only benefit.
Second, that is the second prong to my meat fork approach here. is that
Will not end up with CTE at the end of his career.
yes, you don't watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes, I do, but I did.
The meat fork.
I don't even know.
Honestly, I've watched every episode but once.
When they're when they're on trial,
Him and Rosa?
and they're like, we have a two-prong approach to our defense. The meat fork.
I don't know. Jake says a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Noise.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joe Flacco,
Cool.
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is 50.
Are we just gonna jump over Joe Flacco?
Well,
I think that's a pretty big deal.
Okay, but I just said there's not much to say. Like, he's
The
old.
2012 MVP speaks for itself.
He's old. The Ravens and the Broncos. Did either of them even make the postseason?
Yeah, the Ravens did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Were they
Yeah,
outs-
they got ousted in the wild card game.
Well, that's why I don't remember. Because, I was
They
paying...
lost to the Chargers, I think.
I couldn't tell you.
But,
I
look it up.
don't remember
No.
them being in the postseason. I only remember my Seahawks losing in the wild card.
What I want to talk about, I don't want to talk about Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they lost to the Chargers.
I want to talk about Lamar Jackson. Because the Ravens, in my opinion, I think they just made a very, very smart move. Because the way that I see it is, do you remember last year, not last year, 2 years ago?
When he won the Heisman, yes.
No. When the Philadelphia Eagles had an amazing quarterback in Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz went down, and Nick Foles came in,
Nick the Dick.
and Big Dick Nick absolutely
Dick.
carried the team to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
And then the next year came around, and they had two quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and they did not know what to do, so they just decided to keep both. And Big Dick Nick comes in and carries the Philadelphia Eagles
Then
to
he
the
choked.
playoffs again.
Then he
Chokes in the playoffs, but carries them to the playoffs again and proves that he's good enough to do it again. It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
Now they just
He's
have
a
Carson
starter.
Wentz. And what the hell are they going to do with Carson Wentz? Right? So Joe Flacco's old. He's not getting younger.
No.
I think they only got a mid-round pick for him.
Yeah, they literally got a pick for him.
But
They dumped the salary, essentially.
if you wait till next year and Lamar Jackson carries you to the playoffs again, and then you go to try to trade Joe Flacco, no one's going to give you shit.
No.
Because first of all, he's a year older. Second of all, you've proven that you don't need him.
Yes.
And third of all, he's a year older. Like,
Well, that's what I said about the Gasol trade. Yeah, he's a good player, but, like, he's old.
yeah, like at the end of the day, there's someone at the door again. We are recording
Hi, Mahad.
a podcast. Go away. Dude, we're recording. Fuck off. Sorry, folks. We really need a new place to record.
I know.
We can honestly do it in my basement. But yeah, I don't know. I think they made a smart move.
Yeah, no, I agree too. Like I said, okay, they make us the wild card. What does that really mean? Like, you're gonna play a team who's also maybe a little bit better than you, maybe a bit worse. You know what I mean? Like a wild card, you literally just squeezed in there. That doesn't mean you're a good team.
No, it doesn't.
The other thing is that they just barely beat the Browns to squeeze into that.
That's what
wild
I'm
card,
saying.
too.
Like, just because you made the wild card does not mean you're good. It's like Seahawks missed the postseason last year. They made the wild card this year. Everyone was like, "Whoa, we made the playoffs." Okay, you lose first round.
Yeah, that's
Might as well have not wasted your time in that game.
that's like making the playoffs, the Eastern Conference, the NBA, like the bottom three team or seeds for like the playoffs. Like those are all like trash teams that wouldn't be. They wouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs if they're in the West.
No,
essentially.
and you're gonna like make
Like
it.
it's like, oh yeah, we made the playoffs. Like congrats, you went 4 games under 500, and it turns out the rest of the East is just 82 games under 500. Like
And you'll like maybe
Congrats.
make it to game 5 and then you're out.
yeah, you'll make it to Game 5 max before the Raptors or the Bucks or the Sixers or the Celtics.
Yeah,
crap
like you'll be
on you.
lucky if you don't get swept.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. Next topic of conversation here. One that hits me close to home. A fella by the name of Antonio Brown has tweeted thanking Steelers Nation for an incredible 9 years, but announcing that he will not be returning to Steel City. For those of you who don't know me,
Steel Town North.
I am a very large Steelers fan. They are my team. They've been my team for a while now. And on my wall currently, I have an Antonio Brown jersey hanging right above my bed. Every morning I wake up and I look at it and I think, wow, that guy is on my team. Thank you. I just say thank you. And ultimately, he's gone. He's no longer there. And I am very, very, for someone who is so invested in the Steelers and someone who is so invested in Antonio Brown and someone who ultimately understands that Antonio Brown is a top 5 receiver in the league and that we just lost him after losing Le'Veon Bell immediately prior, like, I'm not that hurt. I don't think I'm that upset about it.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks.
Yeah.
But, like, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We have James Conner. We have Juju Smith-Schuster, who,
Is incredible.
holy cow, he's so good. That's going to be my next jersey. I'm burning my brown one. I'm going to do one of those Twitter videos.
It's so funny. Everyone knows that I love college football. It's incredible to see how absolutely dog doo-doo USC went to after he declared for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
One player really can make a difference.
No, they do. They really do. Except for in basketball. But
I think it's
really
'cause-
make a difference in basketball.
no, we were literally just talking about how you need 5 All-Stars.
No, but I mean, one player could be the difference between a team being dog crap or
Yeah.
a decent team.
Oh, yeah, no
But
shit.
anyways.
Back to it.
Yeah.
We got, where were we? We got James Conner, we got Juju Smith-Schuster, we have James Washington, Ben Roethlisberger, he's old, but
Big Ben.
he's fine. We got Watt. Like, I think we're okay.
You will be okay.
I think we're going to be okay. Now, in terms of making the playoffs, I think the Ravens are going to take the 1 seed. It'll be between us and the Browns next year for the wild card. Actually, no, scratch that. Scratch that. I have no fucking clue where the Browns are going to be.
Honestly, I feel like
I have no
What
clue
division are
where
you
the
guys in? Your NFC.
NFC North.
I feel like you really can't like like football's one of those sports where you're like way too early predictions are never right. Cuz you just never know.
You're
what's gonna
AFC
happen.
North.
Sorry, did I say NFC?
You said NFC.
I said it, NFC.
I said NFC first, so I was kind of like predicating your wrong answer.
Yeah. I just knew we were North.
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
That's okay.
So, but yeah. I'm not that hurt. I mean, like, obviously we all saw it coming. Mm-hmm. And, like, he's a cancer in the locker room.
Yes.
Like, I can't remember. Like, I'm pretty sure it was last season when he literally went Facebook Live while Mike Tomlin was like doing a speech or like presentation.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And like he released like plays on Facebook Live that Mike Tomlin was saying.
Wow.
I don't know. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how this plays out. In terms of Antonio Brown, more than likely going to be a Niner. But what are the odds he just joins the Browns with Hunt?
Could you imagine?
That would be like scary.
Insane.
That'd be scary.
Well,
That would
I
be
mean,
scary.
the Browns would go from like hilarious joke a year ago to like, oh crap, like this might be one of the best teams.
But like they would
In their
also
division.
have quite possibly the worst locker room guys.
Oh, and like the worst
known to
look.
man.
They would be having a terrible look.
You have someone who's been convicted of domestic abuse. You have Baker Mayfield, who I mean I love the guy.
He's such a cocky motherfucker.
He's a tool.
He woke up this morning feeling dangerous.
I am.
He literally is just Baker Mayfield. I mean, like obviously caught on camera running from the cops, getting taken down before he was drafted. Known to be a partier, known to be a less crazy Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so that's
we-
what I'm saying. Like
Just sane enough to not screw over his talent.
yeah, but
And-
like, still, he's so cocky. It's like
Yeah. And then you add Antonio Brown, who literally just left his amazing.
did he even play a game last year?
Who?
Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
He did
You're
play?
thinking Le'Veon Bell.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking Le'Veon Bell. Antonio
he
Brown
even
played.
play a game?
Le'Veon Bell did not play. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Did he
was.
sit out for like contract reasons?
Yeah, he sat out because he wouldn't sign. I honestly I couldn't tell you the details of his situation just because I'm too lazy to look him up. But like I don't want to because I know he's just not going to join the Steelers again, and like I'm just
Yeah,
gonna be sad because
obviously.
like I said, Antonio Brown was a top 5 player in the league. So was Le'Veon Bell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but whatever. We're gonna see how it plays out. We're gonna see what actually happens. Now, Haley has a topic that she wants to talk about that
Yes.
I'm going to sit out for because I have no idea.
I'm going to try my best.
I barely know what this
It's
stands
fine.
for.
I've barely gotten to speak today because you guys went off about the Raptors for
I'm
half
sorry.
an hour.
Yeah,
So
that's my bad.
there's this
Taking
new
a break.
there's this new league called the American Alliance of Football.
Alliance of American Football.
Is it that?
Yeah, it's the Alliance of American.
You're already wrong.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's terrible. I think it should be American Alliance of Football, but it is the Alliance of American Football.
Oh, that's even stupider.
Yeah, it's very dumb.
Okay, well then, the Alliance of American Football, whatever it's called, had its debut this weekend.
Yes,
So there are 8 teams, I believe,
there are.
and they are all in cities that don't currently have an NFL franchise, which is smart.
Aside from Atlanta.
Oh, there's an Atlanta team. But otherwise, it's like Orlando, San Antonio, San Diego.
Salt Lake, Arizona, Memphis, Orlando, Birmingham. Okay, I don't know
Yeah.
whose idea was it to put a team in Birmingham because I couldn't honestly. If you put a gun to my head, I could not point out where Birmingham was on a map.
It's in Alabama.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Still couldn't tell you where.
But I guess
Alabama
that
is.
kind of caters to like the college fans.
That is true.
Because that's where Bama is.
Yeah.
And Bama's obviously a big football school,
Tide.
so I think Birmingham, okay, Dodge. So that happened on the weekend, and the reason the AAF thinks they're going to succeed is because they're saying they're not trying to be different than the NFL, which makes no sense to me. Because they're basically just saying they're another version of the NFL. They have a few different rules. So there's no kickoffs or extra points. You have to attempt a 2-point conversion that starts on your own 25-yard line.
Thank God.
There is an onside conversion, 4th and 12 from your own 28, so you must be down 17 points or more, or trail with 5 minutes or less in the fourth quarter to be able to do this. There's a sky judge who corrects obvious errors, so it's not just the refs, you know.
I think that's a good change.
I think that is a good change too. And then overtime is 1 possession for each team from opponent's 10-yard line. So those are the differences from NFL rules. But
Okay.
it's funny. So in one of the first games of the weekend, it was San Antonio versus San Diego. And San Diego's quarterback, I don't know if you would remember this. I have a really good memory and remember a lot of things.
Okay.
There's a video that came out a few years ago of a guy who was a quarterback. He went to Arizona State. And his girlfriend was running routes for him. And he was like throwing to her. And it was like this big video because like she was some hot girl and it was his girlfriend. He was like throwing her routes.
Yeah.
Well, he was the quarterback for San Diego. And about 10 seconds into the game, he just gets absolutely rocked. His helmet flies off. The ball goes. I feel like in any other league there would have
Would
been
that be
targeting.
Mike
Mike Berkovici? Yes.
Berkovici?
I feel like in any other league there would have been targeting, but it wasn't in this league. I don't think any of the games were really high scoring. I mean, like, it looked entertaining, I guess. I just don't really understand the point. It's kind of like people who never made it to the NFL. It's like, it's like, in my opinion, it's like an American version of the CFL kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
it's the AHL.
Yeah, but it's not like there's no chance that these guys are going to get called up to the NFL.
No,
they're
and
not.
they're not making NFL
It's
money.
more like the
and they're not-
ECHL. Like here, come play hockey at a professional level, or come play football at a professional level, make some money. Not a great amount of money, but
No,
There's
make
no
some
way
money.
they're making a living.
Oh no!
Oh, God, no.
No chance.
The thing
Guys in the
is-
CFL aren't even making a living.
Guys in the
No.
same-
Except for Mike Riley, but I mean, who cares?
And Kwaku Boateng.
Laurier.
Laurier alumni.
Laurier grad.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna. Sorry, we're not talking about CFL.
No.
They suck. Anyways,
But no, there was a
Terrible
few.
league.
I was reading an article and there was literally like every team literally had like one player who like you would know their name and like that was it.
yeah. It seemed like there were like. There's one team who didn't even score in their first game,
Yeah.
and there were 3 teams who were 15 points or less.
The thing is, I was again for the 3rd time this podcast. I'll say it. I was talking with my dad. My dad and I talk sports. That's pretty much the only thing we talk about. And
my dad and I have recently been discussing our taxes.
my dad and I don't talk about taxes.
Anyways, continue.
And my dad is old. He's going to be 55 this year, so he's been around a while.
Wow.
So he's seen a lot of these leagues who come in and try to do things that already exist, and they always fail. Like he was telling me about the World Hockey Association, the WHA.
WHA.
I remember that.
That was
Gretzky,
around-
that was where Gretzky got his start.
Yep, that was around for about 9 years, and then it failed.
Yep.
There was the XFL, which was like arena
The
football.
most hilarious sport of all.
That was around for a while, and it failed. There was the AFL, the American Football League.
Didn't even know that existed.
Yep, because it wasn't around for long.
Do you know what is
so-
still around?
What?
The LFL. The lingerie football league.
Oh my god.
can't
You're literally
possibly
Kai.
be
Don't
a
show
thing.
up next week, thank you. But
I watched a video on that the other day. It's so funny.
it'll be interesting because they're obviously playing in a football off season, but it's kind of like the thing is, obviously there's other sports on right now, so if you're a sports fan in other leagues, are you going to spend your Saturday night watching basketball, or are you going to watch an AAF game?
Or hockey.
Or a hockey game?
Or
And the thing is,
baseball starts up soon.
well, that's what I'm saying.
Spring training.
So this league goes into
I'd probably
April,
watch
May.
AAF over baseball. To be
yeah,
honest.
that's true. I hate baseball, but
But baseball fans are
baseball fans
fans
aren't gonna watch the AAF over that.
over spring training. God no.
No, absolutely not.
And that's the thing. This is going into the summer. Well, people who love baseball are going to be watching spring training and baseball into the
MLS
summer.
starts up again as well.
Yeah, MLS is on.
I would
Like,
probably watch the AAF over
I would watch soccer over.
I would watch soccer.
Yeah.
There's also some big soccer news. Forward for Arsenal, Aaron Ramsey, he signed with Juventus, and he's getting paid 400,000 euros a week for playing for Juventus. A week.
A week.
But the transfer fee was free, so it's fine. It's fine that they're paying him that much to go play for Juventus. He didn't really do anything for Arsenal. He played for us for 11 years. Say us, yes, I'm an Arsenal fan.
What would that be in Canadian dollars? I'm pretty sure
lot.
the euro is like
The euro and a half?
1.75.
No, it's like 1.5, I think.
No, I checked the other day. It was
I'll
really
check
high.
it for
Pretty
you
sure it's
guys.
1.5.
Fact check. 600 grand a week.
So
Canadian.
1.5 exactly.
No, it's 597,441. So
Oh.
just under. It's like 1.47 or 45 or something.
So I mean, I was right again.
Well then.
So
A
600.
hilarious amount of money per week.
Yeah.
Per week that he's getting paid to play for Juventus, who's already got Ronaldo,
There are a lot of things I would do for 600,000
But
That
it's
is
funny.
that is
a week,
a week. A lot of things.
which he was definitely not getting at Arsenal.
No,
Tell you that.
that is 20 times the average annual income in Canada.
Annual, not weekly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It's
That is-
insane.
that is what that
That's
is.
the thing. Soccer doesn't have a
Who is
cap.
this guy? I don't know shit about
Aaron
soccer.
Ramsey.
He's a pretty good player.
He's from Wales. He played for Arsenal for 11 years, and now he's going to.
Where's he?
Juventus.
What nationality?
I just say he's from Wales.
He's Welsh.
Did you not listen to what I said?
I don't know.
He's from Wales.
He's from
what
Wales.
nationality is he? He's
Come
British.
on.
Okay.
He had a grand total of 2 goals last year.
Honestly, Arsenal was really terrible. Up
He was a
until last year.
midfielder though too. They're not really supposed.
Oh,
to
did I
be
say
scoring
forward?
goals.
Sorry, he's a midfielder. But
He's not technically supposed to be more.
he
That is fucked.
His salary in 2012 was £3 million a year. That's gonna be a lot.
soccer
more now.
has so much. Well, that was the thing when Neymar went to PSG. It was like the highest transfer fee ever because they paid like 10 million euros to get Neymar to PSG. Like, it was
Oh, wow.
nuts.
All right. That's enough soccer on my podcast.
This is my podcast. You will
I don't-
not be invited back if
I don't
you
know
cut me
enough
off
about
again.
soccer.
We're talking hockey.
No, this is a hockey-free podcast. We agreed on that.
No, we said we're going to talk a little bit about the Leafs.
No, we
The
didn't.
Leaf speculations is in the doc.
You wrote that. You wrote the doc.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
on my podcast.
So, a little fella by the name of Austin Matthews.
Yeah, we already said he got a contract extension. We said at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, but we're going to go more into depth.
Okay.
5 years, 11.634 mil. 90% of it's going to be signing, of course, because everyone's preparing for the lockout in 3 years.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, there we go.
Now they got to sign Mitch Marner. Yay, Leafs.
I saw an article about somebody saying that it's unlikely, but there's a way that the Leafs can keep Jake Gardiner. I'm like, why the fuck would they want to?
There's no
Jake,
chance
I
in-
love Jake Gardner. Don't.
Telling you.
I will not take any Jake Gardner hate.
I love Jake Gardner too, but with the
He's gonna want too much
with
money.
the with the cap situation
I
right
agree.
now. We're losing Jake Gardner, we're losing Kasperi Kapanen, we're losing Connor Brown,
I think I can take that.
and like I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with losing. I'm not okay with losing Jake Gardner as the other two.
I'm not
but-
okay with losing Kasperi Kapanen. Have you
I
been
love
seeing this
Kapanen.
guy?
I love Kapanen, but they're way more stacked at forward than they are at defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nothing going on in the NHL besides that stuff, though.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who else we got on deck? Random headlines. Duke, 23-point comeback.
Yeah, against Louisville.
That's pretty big.
Papa John was there.
Oh yeah.
Was he?
Yes, he was.
Maybe I'll get some pizza tonight. That just inspired me.
You're welcome.
God, I want pizza now too. Zion had that insane block where he jumped from like the paint and blocked a guy on the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Okay,
So he's gonna be the first overall pick, we're thinking, right?
he'll be a Nick.
obviously.
He'll be a Nick.
Oh, the Cavs would like to raise you one terrible trash team with no good young players.
I don't know.
The Cavs are bad. They're benching Kevin Love because they know he's too good to play because they know they'll win games with Kevin Love on the floor.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they end up. But I mean, whoever gets the second pick is not doing too bad with R.J. Barrett.
R.J. Barrett, sweet Canadian. My dad actually played basketball against his dad, Rowan Barrett.
Fun fact from Spencer.
I thought you were gonna say your dad played basketball against him, and I was gonna say,
my dad's not that
who
young.
is your dad?
My dad is not that young. No.
Imagine.
My dad was on the end.
R.J. Barrett
was
is
the
our
best
age.
point guard in some tournament he played in high school, though. That's all I know about him.
Another big news: Penn State took down Michigan, number 6.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Who beat Kentucky again?
LSU, ranked 19th, beat Kentucky, ended their 10-game winning streak. It's pretty big.
Do you know what I'm shocked at? Villanova's like not even top 10 this year.
That's what happened. They have a bunch of like seniors that
Well, that's
just
the
like
thing. Well,
went on.
Well, yeah, but that's most schools. Duke, Kentucky, Louisville, they're all one and done schools. Like, there was a stat last year, that, like, Devin Booker and, like, Andrew Wiggins would have been in, like, their senior year.
Yeah,
And they've been in the NBA for 3 years.
How
Like-
stupid is that?
Like, it's insane.
Well, I mean,
All those schools.
Zion is what, 17?
No, he's 19 now.
He has to be 19.
They can't play in. He might be
Or maybe-
18.
yeah, 18,
They
but
can't
there's-
draft him until he's.
No, I thought
his
he's-
birthday is July 6th, so he'll be drafted at age 18, but he will play his first game in the NBA at 19.
Okay. But, like, yeah, there's.
Yeah, that's what I
Because
mean.
you're
He's
the
17
required
right now.
1 year professional or 1 year in college before they can be drafted.
Sorry, he is 17 right now?
He's currently 18 years old. He was born July 6th in 2000. Zion
Is that-
Wilson is 6 months younger than me. That is insane. 7 months younger than me.
Is that a required rule? Because, like, Kobe and LeBron never went to never went
Okay,
to college.
here we're going to go into some NBA rule history. So the draft was changed in 2004 or 2005. That was the last year they allowed high school
schooler?
players.
So it did change, okay.
They've changed it so that they will only allow
Well, it makes
1
sense.
year of college or a college. They don't let the go like the straight to the NBA players.
Well, that makes sense. Like, college has the same rule in football, but it's 3 years.
Yeah. Sorry, starting in 2006, high school players no longer eligible to enter the draft directly after graduating. They will gain eligibility by being at least 19 years old at the end of the calendar year of the draft. So you have to be 19 by the end of the year of the year you're drafted. So Zion will be 19 by the end of 2019. RJ Barrett might be 19 already, but he will definitely be 19.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic was drafted at 18, but he's 19 now because
Yeah,
he turned
yeah,
19
yeah.
by the end of 2018.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's better that way, too. Like, I feel like there's not enough kids who would be good enough to go to high school anyways, but, like... in college-
absolutely.
LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo Ball.
That's Swire Academy.
shut up.
Tearing it up.
Spire. You mean Spire
Is it
Institute?
Spire?
Spire Institute. They also have that
I
dude
don't
who's
even know.
7'7", looks like a goblin.
Yeah,
What is it, Rob
I'm-
Bobrovsky or something
I have
crazy?
no idea.
right.
I do not follow.
Oh, I've got it.
honestly, I'm so bad with following
Robert
college and, like,
Bobrovsky.
I don't know
stuff like
why.
that.
I mean, college basketball's a bit harder because there's always so many games. Like, especially when March Madness starts.
March
it's like-
Madness is a literal madness. They call
like,
it that for a reason.
There's literally like 8 games on at once. You're like, oh my god. But like college football is my entire life. Like
No, I'm a pro sports guy. I can't.
You're missing out. College
I've
is so much
never
better.
really been into.
My
college.
dad's a huge college basketball fan. He
Well, that's-
swears by it.
it's my family with football. I feel like if you grow up on it, then
Yeah.
Yeah, none of my family members
No.
watch football.
I watch professional sports as well, but I do love college basketball. Like, I would watch college basketball over like a ton of other sports. Like, I'd watch that over the NFL. Like,
I would
I'm
watch.
Not a huge football
I would literally
person.
watch college football over anything.
I'd watch NBA
anything.
basketball over anything.
All right, folks. Well, what can we get a time check here? I think
We need to wrap up.
Yeah, we
that's
do.
what time
All
it is.
right, I
So-
propose before the 3 stars, new segment, hot take.
No.
Let's get everyone a nice hot take prediction.
No.
You can't just drop
You can't just
that.
drop a segment. We got to discuss this, Spencer.
We gotta discuss it.
Come on.
You have to prepare
no,
it.
no.
Propose.
How dare you come on my show and try? No, give me your star, and we're moving on.
I need
My
to
hot take is that the
about it.
Sixers come out of the.
We're not doing hot takes. Give me your freaking star.
I'm not ready yet. You go.
No, Spencer's first. He's
What
the
do I-
newbie.
Yeah.
Okay, star of
Star
the
of the
week.
week.
Does it have to be a player?
No, I've done coaches before.
I've done teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could literally be anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, my star of the week is Kyle Lowry, rounding back into form. He's shooting well again. Seems to be a lot healthier, and the Raptors are rolling because of it.
Hajazi.
I'm gonna say that my star of the week is, I honestly, you know what? No, my star of the week, Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz he's a number 1 overall pick, and he just had such a rough time in Philly, and I always felt bad for him because he shit the bed and he has so much potential, but he's going to Orlando now. He's going to have a fresh start. He's going to have an opportunity to be the face of a franchise and ultimately just start again. He's still so young. He's 20 years old.
Yeah, he is really.
And he's proven that he's a good basketball player.
So
if he just puts he's not going to be in the playoffs this year. If he just puts his time in and perfects his shot and like just learns, I think he'll do well. I think moving is the best thing for him.
I agree with that.
My star is D'Angelo Russell, just because he got traded from the Lakers and proved them wrong. And he went to Ohio State.
He had a big game against the Raptors. Career high 14 assists.
Yep. So
I love D'Lo.
You know that anytime I can make somebody from Ohio State my star, I'm going to do so. Even last year, in the Super Bowl, who did I pick? I picked Malcolm Jenkins because he went to Ohio State. I'm always going to do that. But also, like, if you're the youngest player to hit 500 threes, like, that's insane.
That is pretty big.
That's, like, an insane stat.
Yeah.
Like, I think he deserves it.
Oh, absolutely. I'd also like to add to my, like, 3-star. Like, Kyle Lowry also gets my star because he's, like, the thickest guy in the league. Can't argue with that.
Do you guys see the video of him bending over at the line and like just putting his ass directly in this girl's face who's sitting courtside?
No.
And just like it's so funny. I'll show you after.
Okay.
But he's about to inbound the ball and he just bends over so like and puts his hand on his knees to like kind of pant and like he just gives this girl a fucking like a whiff of swamp ass.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing because this girl's just like leaning over on her friend. All right.
Oh God,
but
all right.
on that note, thank you guys for tuning into the SML Sports Podcast. As always, I am Zach.
We cannot have more than 10 seconds of music, Kajaz.
There, we're at 10.
Sued.
This is 10.
I literally hate what this podcast has become.
Are you gonna sign off?
No.
Okay, Spencer.
Thank you for my first show of many where I will waste a lot of time talking about basketball and do my best to make up for that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to schedule out what's happening on these podcasts
We do,
because they're just going to
definitely.
be canceled.
We
from now
literally
on.
tried that too. All right, thank you guys for listening. Tune in next time. Kareem Hunt sucks.